You've tuned in to the BAM Pod, brought to you by Black Bear Diner, Chicken Ranch Casino Resort, Mercury Marine, Vexus Boats, StoreQuest Storage Solutions, Bass Boat Technologies, and Tackle Warehouse. Now, kick back and enjoy the next great episode of the BAM Pod. Big things are happening in Boardman, Oregon. At the heart of it all, the Boardman Chamber of Commerce and Boardman Community Development Association, working together to create opportunities, support local businesses, and build a thriving community. From new business growth to family-friendly events, workforce development, and expanding local resources, Boardman is making it happen. Looking to live, work, or invest in a growing community? Boardman is ready for you. Boardman's Community Development Association, strengthening Boardman's economy, one project at a time. All right, welcome into the show, everybody. This is the BAM Pod. I'm your host, Big Ed, and on the line tonight, we have gone out there and got one of the last Pacific Northwest fishermen that was up there. We're giving them their shot up in the Pacific Northwest. This is going to be our last tournament up there at Boardman, Oregon. Let's bring in a man who went to Tri-Cities, competed against some of the best in the West, some of the best in the country, and took home an 8th place, Mr. Darrell Ocamica.
What's up, guys?
Oh, man. You know, it is not easy to go and do what you did. You know, a top 10 against some of the top guys in the entire, I always say the world, but you know what? It's the country, because I don't know who's fishes against us that's been in the world, except for one guy. Greg Gutierrez has fished against the world. So you know what? I'm going back to the world. That's how it works, mate.
That's right.
So, you're out there and you gotta step up and compete against these guys. You take an 8th place. You're looking at this guy, I'm sure you know Ron Mace. Everybody up there seems to know Ron and what he can do. And he was, unfortunately, the odds-on favorite in so many eyes up there. And he came back and did it anyways.
As he should be. As he should be.
He becomes our first Super 60 gentleman to take 2 wins. He takes $50,000, $100,000 total overall. Did a great job up there, man. But you know what? 8th place, that is nothing to sneeze at, man. You did a great job out there. I want to know a little bit about, you're from Meridian, Idaho. So I want to know, how much do you really fish the Columbia? Is that one of your big spots that you fish? And, how did you do it up there?
Well, so to be honest with you, as close as I am to the Columbia River, I don't spend as much time there as I probably should. We have such great fisheries here locally around where I live that, and I fish a pretty tough, just local tournament schedule on top of the Super 60 schedule. But I mean, I have some really spectacular fishing close to me, so I don't get over there as much as I probably should, but it kind of is what it is. But on Tri-Cities, the last time I was there was, 2019, when it was a Pro-Am. Had just gotten back from the Elite Series. It was the next year. I decided to put my hat in out there, and man, I was way outclassed. I hadn't been there in probably 4 years before there. I put in a couple days of practice and never had anything to fall back on. So I don't have much experience there. I just went fishing. That's kind of been my mantra for this year. Havasu, never seen it, never put a boat on it. Ended up first spot out of the money, ended up 22nd. Brownlee, that's a no-brainer. I got my own way on the first day there. I should have been top 10 there, but ended up salvaging a 13th or 14th place finish there. And then Tri-Cities, I just followed my mantra. I said, dude, go fishing. Just go do what you do. Go fish things that look good. No preconceived notions, no nothing. Just fish what feels comfortable. And that's pretty much what I did.
That's a big risk to take against the caliber of anglers you're fishing against. But you know what? All that does for me, and I'm sure the people listening, is prove that you belong where you're at. Because if you can just go with your instincts, take that out there, and do as well as you did, take an 8th place. I mean, you've been, like you said, you've been close to 22nd, and a 13th, and now an 8th. I mean, you're going in the right direction. You're going up, right? I mean,
right.
That only leaves you a little ways. Now we're going to head down to Pedro, and we'll see what you can do there. But if you're at an eighth, I mean, that's got to be, see, 13, 8, that's what, 5 points, I believe that is. So 5 places, I mean. So let's
Yep.
see. You go 5 more places, you're taking the third at Don Pedro.
Right. Right.
So I mean, you're right there. You're playing the game correctly. You're fishing this thing right. When you were out there, we had Ron on last show. We talked to Ron after he won up there, and he talked about just running up into some water that guys that don't know it
Hanford
ain't
Reach.
yeah, the Hanford Reed. He said he is not. Nobody else was up there. Nobody else was going up there. It's him, and he's going to be at this pro am. And he said, "I'm going back up. I can lock up. I'm going back up there." He said that there's fish there that I want to catch. There's fish there that can win this thing. And did you have any of that? Were you just like, you know what? I'm sticking to what you talked about. I'm going to fish what looks good. I'm going to, and don't get me wrong, I've been on that body of water. Almost everything looks good. It's kind of like fishing the California Delta, right? It's like, man, this waterway just looks like it's going to produce fish all the time. And I've seen some good water. When you get out there and you're going to just, hey, I'm going to look at this. What is it that you're looking for as far as what looks good, and what can you tell people to go look for on a river system like that?
Well, so what I started out with was current push. So I kind of used our area because a lot of the water that I fish here are dammed up rivers. So there's parts of those places that you actually fish current. And generally, what happens in the fall here is any current seams you can find where grass and current meet, you can usually generally find bass because
Mm.
one, there's going to be a forage base there. Two, the freshest oxygenated water is going to be there. Like all the things, the ingredients that create an environment for a fish to be in are going to be there. So you go looking for those things. Um, Without having like much experience, I just let the river, you can see current seams, you can see current pushes, and you just start fishing those things. I started on one that was down just before you make the corner to where you're headed to McNary. The paper mill's on the east side of the lake. The main river just bangs this bank. I ended up catching like 5 or 6 shorts, 7 shorts.
Okay.
Never had a shot at a better fish, whatever. The thing that got my day started was I went down. So actually, let's back up a year. Boardman last year. Uh, I had some time. I got down there early. So what did I do? I went up above McNary, put my boat in the water, and fished stuff down by the dam. Well, I got on a deal last year, just fun fishing on a jerkbait bite. There was this kind of a rock pile that had a real good, nice defined grass wall, and it fell off into deep water. I mean, I caught the lights out. I mean, I probably was there for an hour, hour and a half and probably caught 20, 25 fish. It was just
Wow.
unbelievably fun. I thought, well, why not? Let's run down there. The wind led us because that's, how it goes on that stretch of the Columbia between
Oh yeah.
McNary and Tri Cities. If the wind is blowing, it is a handful, right?
Yep.
So I seen it our first day was going to be calm. I started on that one current seam, like I said, caught some shorts. I'm like, you know what? My gut's telling me I got to go. So I jump in, bang. I beat feet down at the bottom. I set down. I didn't second cast catch like a 3 pounder. I'm like, here we go. And just proceeded to go down this grass line, fished all the way to the end of it, came back up the grass line, ended up catching like, I don't know, 10, 8 or
Wow.
10 down that. And then from there, I just started spot jumping.
Hmm.
From there, coming back towards Tri Cities, if it looked good, I fished it. And
Hmm.
I mean, I didn't stop on any place that I didn't catch a keeper fish. Some places I caught multiple keeper fish. And so I was just fishing. People always ask me, hey, when you're fishing this Super 60, what are you going to do? You're going to fish for keepers? You're going to fish for big ones? I'm like, dude, I fish for what bites. I mean, it's simply
Yeah.
put, that's really what I'm doing. If it's a 4 pounder, it's a 4 pounder. If it's a pound and a halfer, it's a pound and a halfer. To me, I'm not biased either way. Would I like to catch weight? Yeah. Either way gets me to the top 10. So
Right.
in this format, but it does create that deal that I run into is when you're on a keeper bite and you're not catching quality fish, you get to the final top 10. How do you win? How do you take that step to get to that top? And that's probably the most difficult part.
Yeah. Yeah, it is a question that I do ask every angler when they come up on the Super 60. It's like it's a format that most guys have over the past 3 years now we've been doing this. Um they've embraced it and said, yeah, it is there. And they say it a lot like what you just said, is I'm on this bite that I'm just not in the big fish. And I don't want to call him out on it or say that he made poor decision, but Adam Deacon lit the scales up with numbers.
Right.
And he made the top 10. There was no way he wasn't going to make the top. He made it in day one.
Yeah.
He had that thing going. Adam on championship Sunday, those keepers don't. It doesn't matter.
Right.
You've got to go out there and catch the five biggest fish you can catch.
It's a tough
And
scenario.
yeah, and Adam ended up being down the list. I don't even remember where he came in. I think
He,
sixth or seventh, maybe.
no, he finished ninth behind me.
Oh, did he right behind you? Okay.
And then Nick was 10th because he had boat trouble. So he automatically was defaulted 10th because he didn't even get to make weigh in. But
Yeah.
yeah, him and I were both down there. Like I said, we run into the same problem. Like
Yeah.
when you do that and you chase those numbers and you get on a numbers bite, it's really hard unless you're on such a numbers bite that the bigger ones are mixed in,
Right.
where you can catch the numbers and you can catch quality while you're catching numbers.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, obviously that's the best,
Right.
scenario you could face, but it doesn't always work out like that.
Well, and that's what I was going to say or ask is what point, if you are on that bite and it's a tough it's a tough one when you're, I mean, come on, we're all fishermen.
Yeah,
When that line gets tugged, I mean, even if you're in the biggest competition out there, it's kind of like, ooh, I still like catching fish. It's one of those things. And
it
when
is.
you get there, how do you flip that switch? You're like, okay, I've got, you know what? I went out day one. All I had was numbers. Day two, I'm catching my numbers. At what point do you flip that switch and go, I can't do this anymore. I have got to I got to put this spinner bait down. I got to put this drop shot away. I got to go pick up a big crankbait, a jig, something, and catch swim bait, pick up some big fish. When is it in you as an angler? Is there a time that you can do that? One, and B, or two, when do you absolutely say, I got to have enough time to do this and figure it out for tomorrow? Is there a
Well,
time limit you got to give yourself?
no, it's more along the lines of you get to the top 10. My
Yeah.
job is to get to the top 10. Now, once I get to the top 10, then that equation flips. And then when you're in on that final day, that's when you start taking chances. It's just like, and it's hard. And rest his soul. I'm. It's sad to hear the news about Dwayne, but Dwayne was with me on the championship day for the Tri Cities, and
Yeah.
he got to see. I swear to you, James, I had a 10-pounder looking at my Senko. It swirled on my spinnerbait, and Dwayne was watching. It almost ate my Senko. And it's one of those situations that when you get to that situation, that's the kind of thing that needs to happen to give you a shot to win a caliber event like this, like these events are. So you have an opportunity to win because you got to do something or catch a fish that's outside the norm. And I'm telling you, I was with inches of 50 grand, literally inches. I promise you, I know that fish was over 8 pounds, but it was probably in the vicinity of 10. It was an absolute slaunch of a largemouth bass.
Yeah, that was that that had to be something right there. That
And
had
that's the
to be
part of this that
right.
the highs and the lows and the things that you feel would have been a high if I'd have got that fish hooked and put it in the boat and brought it to the scales. Yes. Dude, I would have been you'd have seen me dance like a little schoolgirl.
That
I
would
would have probably freaked out.
have that would have definitely been I would say I'm trying to think of the biggest fish we've had up there on the river.
12, the one they caught at Pedro
No,
last year.
up there on the river.
Oh,
That would, I mean, being an I want to say a 7. I think Ish's 7 this year. I think that's the biggest we've had so far. And I mean, he was out there after largemouth, but he got a 7 something, and I think
I
that was the
promise
biggest
you,
we've been.
this fish
Yours,
was way bigger than that.
yeah. If you could have got that in, you probably
It,
would have had the new record up there. At least got another check for big fish.
right, right. But
Every little ounce counts, right? Every little ounce counts.
but you got to have those scenarios happen when you get in a position to where you're in the top 10 and you have an opportunity for that top spot. Man, those I don't like to call them luck, but sometimes that's exactly what it is. You happen to make the right moves, you happen to put yourself in the right position, you happen to make the right decisions, and you get one of those bites or you get one of those
Right.
situations that happen. And man, next thing you know, look where I'm at. I'm sitting in a position where I'm going to give this a chance. I'm going to give this an opportunity for me to end up in the top spot.
Yeah. I mean, and that's it. And don't get me wrong. Again, taking an eighth place with the competition you're up there against and the people you're fishing is nothing. It's nothing to just say, "Oh, I did that." You gotta just to get to the top 10 to make that final day to be on Championship Sunday, standing on that stage, man. I tell everyone, it's like know where you're at right now, breathe it in and take it because you are fishing against again some of the best in the world up there that are
I'll never
coming out of these
discredit it.
places. Yeah, absolutely. And it's one
I'll
of those
never
things.
discredit it.
I know it's the West Coast and I know it's not, it's not MLF, it's not Bassmaster, but it's BAM. And I'll tell you what, we are the biggest thing out here with a prestigious event out here. And if you're making that top 10 and you did it, man, you've had a 13th, you've had a 22nd, just missed the check. A 13th, you got a check. You got an 8th this time. That means, an 8th place, you know what that really means, everybody? That means that he gets to take a full half hour off of work every when he goes back. He can take a half hour off and go, you know what? I don't need a half hour's worth of pay. I can get this check coming in.
Tackle Warehouse has everything you need to get out and catch more bass. Rods for every application or technique. Over 1,000 reels to choose from. Monofilament, braid, and fluorocarbon lines. A massive selection of baits from the smallest to the largest. Exclusive baits and colors only available at Tackle Warehouse. Everything you need to build or customize your favorite lures. And of course, countless options to store it all. Tackle Warehouse. Click, save, fish.
Competitive anglers powered by Mercury Pro XS outboards have won more bass fishing tournaments than all other brands combined. With lightning-quick acceleration, legendary reliability, and lightweight design, Pro XS has everything you need to travel farther, faster, and harder.
Ever struggled to navigate shallow waters without damaging your boat? Realize your boat's potential with outboard motor performance products from Bob's Machine, an award-winning world leader in the marine industry since 1978. With over 45 years of dedication to quality, Bob's Machine offers innovative hydraulic transom jack plates and accessories for your boat.
Yeah. Well, I mean, always when you get an opportunity to bring some money home, the wife,
Right.
she's very appreciative of that, but that's not a deal breaker. She knows what the deal is. She's been around long enough. Like I said, today is our 25th wedding anniversary.
Wow, congratulations.
She has been through every bit of it. Like from the point that I started where fishing locally to stepping up to the federation, to making the national championship, to qualifying for the Elite Series, and then taking off for 2 years fishing that. Like she's seen every facet of this deal. So she totally understands what she gets in this deal. And, fishermen probably don't talk about it enough, but that support system at home is absolutely the epitome of to be successful or to not be successful in this deal. Yes, your sponsors make a big deal because they get you there, they give you the product or they do whatever, or financially, that kind of deal. But if you ain't got a support system at home, your mind is not going to be in the right place. You're not going to have the right mentality to be able to focus on the things that you need to focus on, put your best foot forward. So make sure that when game day, they say, hey, boat 36, away you go. Your mind is locked in with what you need to do. And fortunately in my world, I have that. I have the absolute best support system on the planet.
No, that's awesome, man. And if nobody watches our show when we do a weigh-in or when I'm up there on the stage, it is 100% the statement I make every time. We do not get to where we're at standing on that stage without support and help. And whether it be sponsor, whether it be the people at home, the wife that makes the sacrifices to do what you do, to, like you said, to take your mind off of everything at home is it's like saying, oh, I got a brand new motor on the back of that boat. I don't have to worry about that motor not starting.
Bingo.
When you start in this industry, most of the time, unless you're, a little better off or have something going for you, you're starting with an old buckety boat that barely, barely starts, and you better learn how to rewire things and all this stuff, because I feel like all of us have done that, and it's made us better anglers. Oh yeah, don't worry about it. The motor just blew. I can fix that and get us back. Don't worry about it. But you know what? When you get that, and like you said, when you get that support system, it's an amazing thing right there to have that just at home. And I tip my cap to your wife for letting you do this show on your anniversary. That's great. It's 25 years. Yeah, she barely likes you anymore.
It really did. Yeah, like we're not even going to dinner tonight. We're going to go to dinner probably Saturday night.
There you go. Make
Just
it more special.
Yeah, I honest to God, like I said, I hit the lottery when it comes to wives. I'm sure a lot of guys hopefully say the same thing, but I'm very, very blessed in the life that I've been given as far as my companion and the life that I've created. I got 3 great boys, and I have zero complaints.
Yeah, I know you're doing this on a not a professional level, but you're at the Super 60, so you're professional level. But you also taught, I read a little bit of your bio, and you have the 3 boys. You also are a coach for a basketball coach.
That's the next passion I have. Yes, sir.
Now, is it for your kids, or is it for?
No. I for the high school. Well, my kids go to high school here, but I actually coach. It's whatever
right.
the freshman class of whatever year. So like this year I have a freshman, but last year I didn't have a freshman.
Okay.
Next year I won't, but I actually help with it's a 6A program here in Meridian.
Nice.
I also coach club basketball, so I also do that portion, but it's another side of me that I absolutely love. I love the game of basketball. I love to watch it. I'm kind of excited because I'm gonna be a little bit of a fangirl. The 22nd November, the Dallas Mavericks are playing the Utah Jazz in Salt Lake, which Salt Lake's only like 3.5 hours from me. I got tickets for me and my boys, and we're going down to watch Cooper Flagg play. I don't know if you know if you're a basketball guy or know anything about basketball, but if you don't know who Cooper Flagg is, somebody you need to go check out, because he is an absolute menace on the NBA floor.
I am, unfortunately, I say unfortunately, we had some great times, but I'm a Sacramento Kings fan.
Okay.
So I know what it is to be in the cellar for most of our life with we had like 5 years of really good basketball here.
Yeah. Kings had a few runs where they were just absolutely
we were
monsters.
the greatest show on the floor, period, end of story, for about 5 years, and then it just all kind of went away. The Maloofs went away, and they sold, and that's kind of the passion for it went away. But I was there at the very first game, so yeah, I do love the sport of basketball. I think it's a great sport. I'm interested in what Acuff Jr. is going to do for us. I really am. He's probably out of all of our draft picks, he's that one kid that.
Dude, he's a dude.
He is there's no gimmicks to him. It's like Fox came in and he's so fast, he's so this, it's like, that's great, but can you play ball? And everything I've seen with Acuff Jr. is this guy can play ball.
He's a real deal for sure. He's a real deal.
Yeah, so it's gonna be interesting to see what happens. I think that some of the guys that were on their way out kind of pumped the brakes a little bit and went, well, if you're gonna focus,
you're bringing him in, maybe I want to stay.
Yeah, Zach LaVine's kind of sticking around all of a sudden. Yeah, there's some guys, but it should be fun. But when you take that and you're a coach like that, how do you put some of that? That's dedication, that's time, that's effort and putting into it. How do you do that for fishing? Turn that around. That's a lot of dedication you got to put towards being a good coach. Now you come in. Now you got to be a good fisherman. You're fishing at the top level on the West Coast, especially, but in the country in general. You're fishing at the top level. There are plenty of guys, and trust me, I've been to ICAST, I've been to the Bassmasters Classic, and I've talked to these guys. There are a lot of them that would love to be out here fishing with this thing. They just can't make it. But you're doing something that they can't do. And I talked to them about this format, and they're like, "Wow, that's something intense right there." We've had some guys come back. We've had issues fishing everything like that. We've had Ty Au, who just came back. He's fishing against all this stuff, and he's from out here. But there are guys who are itching to get over here and fish the West all of a sudden. How do you turn that around and go, okay, I'm going to be this great coach, I called you that, you didn't, but I don't want to think, but to be this
I take
coach.
I take a lot of pride in what I do, and whether it's fishing or basketball.
Right.
And for me, the basketball portion of it is more about creating a better product. I am, I hate to say it, dude, but our generation for these kids that are, I want to say that 13 to, let's call it 20, maybe, that mid-20s range.
Mm-hmm.
That generation, man, the technology world has really done a disservice to it, where kids aren't spending all hours of the night out at the basketball courts playing basketball. They're not out riding their bikes. They're not out. They're on their phones, social media, doing TikToks and this, which, hey, it's a different world and I get it.
Yeah.
But I try and create a better product. As far as I coach, if you are one of my kids that's on my team, you are from then on a part of me. Even after you've left my program and gone to wherever, I look at it in a sense, and this is kind of how I evaluate head coaches of these 6A programs that are around the valley. My first question I ask them is, how many weddings have you been invited to?
Mm-hmm.
Because if you get invited to somebody's wedding, that's long after they've left any program. If they're so inclined to call you or text you or say, hey, you know what, I'm getting married this weekend. I would really love if you'd be at my wedding. That tells me that the impact that I've had on those kids was something monumental. Right. And to me, that's the value. That's the value that I take away from doing and coaching. And I don't always accomplish that. I try my hardest every time. And just as much as they're learning how to play the game, I'm learning how to be a better basketball coach. And the same thing applies to the fishing world. When I'm out fishing a tournament, or if I'm out which I fish a lot, like I fish a bunch. I'm in the water at least one day every weekend from probably February to end of November.
Wow. And
I try and learn something every time I go. I try and stay on the leading edge, like this Quake thing. I'm trying to get on this, figure out how, rig, throw, when to throw, how to throw, on top of the things that I already know how to do. Like, I'm constantly trying to evolve my game, trying to be able to, so it's no different than trying to be a better basketball player, right. Doing dribble workouts, going out and doing shooting workouts, doing all those things. It's same but different in the fishing world. You go out and go through the motions, you go out and do these things. If you're not a very good finesse guy, go spend a day on the lake and throw a finesse, right. Throw a Nico, throw a drop shot, throw a wacky Senko, throw whatever, and learn the intricacies of that. So you can help that develop your game in the fishing world to be a better fisherman. So if I got a power, and I'm a power guy, that's what I want to do. If I can throw a moving bait to kick your butt, dang well that's what I'm going to do. But I'm not ignorant to picking up a drop shot. Exactly how I made it to the top 10 for the Columbia River. I blind casted a drop shot. Now, I did catch some fish out of my forward facing. I'm not going to lie to you. I seen some and I'd pitch to them and get them to bite. But I also was blind casting it to fish that I didn't see, because there's a lot of big boulders and stuff that they were hiding in that you didn't see them. Next thing you know, there's spaghetti let off from the rock, and you'd see all these smallmouth come out of nowhere because they're behind a current seam or a current push that's underwater that you can't see. And man, so being able to be versatile and do things, and like I said, learn new things, that if you ever stop learning, you might as well give the game up. And that's as far as basketball is concerned. And that goes to anything. It's not just basketball and fishing, baseball, football. It don't matter what it is.
Right.
The day you stop learning is the day you should probably give it up, because there's always something to learn every day.
Hey folks, Randall and I want to talk to you real quick about choosing the right electronics mount for your bass boat.
Mark and I have been partnered with Bass Boat Technologies from the very beginning, and we know the quality and effort that Van Foster has put into this company.
Custom, that's the one thing that I think about whenever I think of Bass Boat Technologies. Van Foster has spent years, not hours, years perfecting these mounts. He works with just about every bass boat company out there, most models for every bass boat company out there. He has spent the time working on these bass boats. So what you get is a custom fitted mount, not some mass produced universal mount for every bass boat out there. Van makes them custom fit for your bass boat.
Bass Boat Technologies also makes a lot of other custom parts. Seat pedestal plugs, tool holders, steering wheel spacers, and battery trays are all made with the same attention to detail that Bass Boat Technologies is known for.
Bass Boat Technologies is a vital part of our livelihood, and it's very important to your overall boating experience also.
Absolutely, and that's why we choose Bass Boat Technologies. Check them out at bassboattech.com. You'll be glad you did.
Oh, absolutely. I think this is, I know people, still do the argument whether it's a sport or not, but it's absolutely a sport.
Dude.
This is something that these guys do. I watch, I get to interview you guys. I get to talk to you on the stage. I get to bring it up there. I get to do my thing, and I absolutely enjoy it. I was able to fish for 5 years as a professional and made my living that way, and I can just absolutely appreciate the good days you guys have out there, the bad days you have out there. And it's one of those things, people kind of give me, it's like, well, you're kind of hard on them. It's like, you know what? There is no person out there on this planet that is harder on a person than themselves. When they come across that stage and they've got one fish in the bag, and I lighten the mood a little bit and say, yeah, it was a tough day out there, looks like, it's guys go, yeah, Ed, okay, I get it. So
I got one for you, Ed. So you want to talk about bad day?
Yeah.
So this is 2000. I'm pretty sure it was the first year. I think it was 17 or 18 when I was fishing the Elite Series. We were on Kentucky Lake. Actually, it was the first year that, oh God, I just watched him on MLF the other night. I blanked. I literally blanked. I did not catch a bass in an elite event, and I didn't even go to the stage. I just loaded my boat, went back to my house where I was staying, and Brandon called me and a few of my other traveling buddies like, dude, where you at? I'm like, bro, I didn't catch fish. I didn't catch a keeper. Well, why didn't you come to weigh-in? You always need to cross the stage. I'm like, the demons got the better of me. There were so many times, that's the other part of this traveling and if you've never done it, you can't, but those window demons in a truck.
Oh yeah.
Bro, those are harsh.
Yeah.
Days where you don't have creature comforts to be able to draw you back to reality, to bring you back from those depths where you have just not a very good day.
Yeah.
And man, there was so many days I almost turned the truck west and said, you know what, I'm out. Deuces, I'm rolling.
Yeah.
And to be able to have that mental fortitude, to be able to push through things like that, those years taught me a lot. And that's kind of what helps, push you through situations in every tournament you fish. Now, locally, it's probably not as bad, but the Super 60, I've already had a few of those instances where I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
What are you doing? Stop what you're doing and get back to normal. So I'm just very fortunate to have the opportunities that I have. I'm very fortunate to be able to be fishing this. I understand what Mark's doing is fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
And I get compliments on it all the time from a lot of local anglers that I fish with here. And I'm very proud to be one of the anglers, to be part of this program, and look forward to fishing it for a lot of years to come, hopefully.
Yeah, I'm really hoping that some of the anglers up there, this is the second year we've really dedicated time to be in the Pacific Northwest. And I and I'm not going to lie, I was absolutely just so disappointed. And I called it out on the stage, when we were up there, Tri-Cities, that, be there. You ask, you beg, you plead. I'm here to angle it. Bass fishermen have done this for years. Nobody ever brings anything good to us. Well, we've brought you the best.
Right.
You can come up there. You can make a name for yourself. You can move on to the Super 60s. There's a possibility to make it to the championships. All this stuff is there. All you got to do is be the person that you tell everybody you are when it comes to angling, right? I mean, if you're that guy that's like, oh, I'm good, I could beat those guys. Well, then go prove it. Go do it, because they're waiting for you. They'd love to see you come up there, get on the pro-ams, start at the pro-ams, and make your way up to Super 60. If you can do that, I mean, you've proven that you are who you say you are.
I
You want plaques on the wall for your grandkids to see. You want plaques on the wall for your friends to come over, drink a couple, and look at and talk about. You got to earn them, man. Because these guys
well,
here, nobody's giving you anything, and no one's gonna say,
nope.
I mean, I'm sorry, Ron's not the youngest of fellas, and he's out there still whooping some
He's
tail.
a hammer, dude.
That guy has
Like
got what
Columbia,
it.
when he catches them, I
Yeah,
mean, he can catch them anywhere he goes. But on the Columbia River, dude,
yeah,
I'm not sure that there's anybody better. He is, whether I don't care if it's the Boardman pool
yep.
or if it's the Tri Cities pool, I don't care. He is going to be in the equation every time, no matter what.
Yeah, and we're looking at it. The pro-am's coming. We'll be at the Boardman pool. And let's talk a little bit about that. The Boardman pool is different than the Tri-Cities pool. I've kind of been out there, seen both of them now. Didn't get to fish the Tri-Cities one, but I went down with Mike Matkowski, and we went down to the Boardman pool and did a little fishing down there, checking that out again. And I absolutely love that thing. It's just so much fun. I mean,
It,
it's
there's so
ridiculous.
many fish,
Got to
dude. It's
catch my
so
first
many fish.
walleye, and
Yeah.
this weekend when I go up there, I get to go sturgeon fishing in the Boardman pool. I didn't even know there was really sturgeon in the Boardman
We'll
pool.
catch you a dinosaur.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, oh, that's ought to be pretty good. The Manarollas hooked me up, and they're gonna get me out on the water and doing that thing. So that's gonna be fun. But I'm, talking about the Boardman pool and what to expect. I mean, yeah, Ron's gonna be there, and I think guys are doing it. Um, you mentioned one thing, and I'm gonna see. I'm guaranteeing it's gonna play there. But you talked about the Senko. Ron talked about the Senko. It seems like the Senko has a heck of a deal to go out there. Now, the Quakey bait and all that sort of thing, I know that's new and it's popular and it does catch fish, but these guys they're not catching them with that necessarily. I mean, Ron went out there, did it with a Senko. You went out there and you said you do it with a Senko. There's a
Yeah.
lot of guys that are just, and I hate to say that the Senko's an old school bait now, but it really is,
Been
It's
around for
been
a
around for,
long time.
yeah, it's been around for a long time. And how do you look at that Boardman pool? One, do you give Ron the nod on that one, or is there somebody out there that you go, you know what, there's a dark horse, and this is who I kind of think is going to show up at that pro-am? Because there's a lot of anglers up there that nobody sees. They don't come out and fish. But I've talked to Ty Manarola, I've talked to Justin Campbell, I've talked to Ron Mays, I've talked to Mike Matkowski, and they've said there are some guys who haven't shown up that can absolutely win that thing hands down if they just
Oh,
get out and do it.
I don't know enough of the pro-am guys to know who could be, but you're right. Ron Mace is going to be one. Ty's definitely one.
Mm-hmm.
Campbell's definitely one. Um, I mean, those guys, they spend a ton of time because Northwest Bass is there a bunch.
Right.
There's a bunch of circuits down there that they fish where they spend a bunch of time on that river and really know it. And with this pro-am being um, lockable as far as up, man, does that expand the window of opportunity for guys to be able to go do things and be able to go catch fish. So it really, but again, here's the gamble for that. What's the
Mm-hmm.
weather going to do? You come out of that lock up there at McNary, dude, and that sucker might just be angry.
Yep.
And everybody knows, and especially, west too from Boardman. If you're traveling towards west as far as river's concerned, it can be just as mean.
Right.
So, that's the other part of this equation that guys, when they take into consideration, hey, where am I going to fish? How am I going to pre-fish? You look at the weather, especially on the Columbia River. You got to take the weather into consideration because you might find a group of fish if they're that many miles away and the weather says, you know what? Guess what, buddy? You're not going to get to go there. What do? You have a backup plan? And
Right.
as every angler should, you should have a backup plan. Yeah, I want to get to those fish, but if I can't get to those fish, what is my audible to be able to do to still have a success to get to where I have an opportunity to be able to win when it comes down to day 3, and be in a position to win. So those are all things. But the Boardman, I really think you're going to have to. I'm going to say, what is that? 1836, 46. probably 50,
Hmm.
55, 55 to 60 is
Wow.
probably where that's going to end up if I had
Wow.
to guess. And it might be north of that if I was to guess, because they are absolutely catching them
Yeah.
and or gonna catch them. I know that. And a 19 or 20 pound bag is repeatable, and it's
Yeah.
probably repeatable multiple times if you get in the right stretches and get in the right rotations. You could definitely knock a bag out. So I would say that 55 to 60 pounds is probably, if I was going to fish that event, that's probably the number that I would look for. I would be shooting for, I mean, at a minimum, you're going to need 17 pounds probably a day to probably even sniff
Hmm.
the final day.
Okay. I mean,
So
that's to get a check, you're thinking somewhere around 17 pounds a day.
that's what. So what does the pro-am pay to? I don't even know.
I yeah, that's not my end normally, but yeah, I think it's somewhere around 25 or somewhere around 20. I can't. It really depends on the numbers that we get. I mean, if we get a big
Sure.
number, we get 100 boats. I think it pays down
Oh
to
yeah,
30,
that
30 a
always
place or
changes the
something.
equation for sure.
But yeah, no, it's definitely right there. Like I said, it comes down to the numbers, and I'd love to see the numbers be so big up there. Just for once, I'd love for these guys to show up and just say, "We're here. Thanks for being here."
What did
um,
Mace win with Boardman last year? I don't even remember.
yeah, that's way too far for me.
I'm with you on there. I've slept since then.
I'd have to go back in the records, but I want to say it was somewhere in that 54-70 something. Kind of scratches my head, but I don't know if that's right or not. So don't go off on that. Anybody.
But I would think an 18 a day is probably a pretty good number to be
Yeah.
competitive. And the further north of that you go, the better chance you give yourself.
Yeah, it's one of those things that, I look at that pool and I go, I think one of the other sides of that is that if you're a non-boater, if you're an AM that wants to go out there, fishing the Boardman pool is absolutely probably one of the best chances for you to really go out. And it doesn't matter what the guy in the front of the boat's doing. You have an opportunity to catch fish. And I've learned that so many times because there are fish everywhere. Every grass,
Absolutely.
every weird grass line. I was out with Mike, and I mean, we're working into the wind. He's getting us going, and it's going. And I just look back, and I see this one little grass line. I throw back there, and I catch like a 3-pounder. It's like, oh, this is so awesome. You can't, you just can't. That pool is there, and if you're a non-boater, you want to go out and be a part of this thing, you should absolutely be a part of it. If you're a club guy and you want to show us what you can do, that you should be a part of this thing. The Boardman pool, they're also having a big giant. Boardman's going to be having a big giant summer event. Their end of summer event is going on. It's their big celebration. We were a part of it, I believe, last year, and it was amazing. It was really fun. We had a lot of food going on and stuff going on. So yeah, come out and check it out if you're just in the area and want to come see the event. Come watch the weigh-in. I guarantee you, I will do my best to be entertaining. Give you something to watch. Give you something to look at and to see some of what these anglers can absolutely do. Because I'll tell you what, when you put the caliber of angler we put on the water out there, when we draw the cream of the crop, even on the pro-am events, these are some of the best in the whole Pacific Northwest area. They're coming out and fishing this thing. They're coming up from everywhere. And it is going to be amazing what they can do on your body of water. And you can see what you have out there.
Well, that's what the Super 60 did for me.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, look, them guys came to my body of water. Now, granted, our tournament schedule for local wise, I can count on one hand how many times I've been on Brownlee in June. Like, we don't come back to it because the way we start on Brownlee in the springtime, and then from there it's a Waihe, Strike, Cascade, where we got a rotation, and by the time we get back to the rotation, we don't get to Brownlee till August, September, somewhere in there. So I don't get much time on Brownlee that time of year, but the eye-opening experience that I've seen that these guys did to catch these fish, like look at Ostrander. Ostrander, dude, he was on 25 on a trolling motor, throwing a whopper plopper, burning the bank, and got to the top 10. Like, there's so many things that just opened my eyes. I'm like, God, I try not to have tunnel vision, especially on my own waters. I try not to stay on history. I try to do new things. I try to, and But dang, dude, it just absolutely. And then the fact that Rich won on a damn wagon that I've looked at for 20 years, I don't think I've ever made a cast that damn wagon.
Yeah.
And he wins 50 grand off the sucker.
Hey.
And it's like, it's just one of those things. It's the beauty of the sport.
That's all right. He was just as surprised.
It's what? Again, somebody's got to win. You make it to the top 10, somebody has to win. And it's those deals. But, to know that it's just wild to me that like I said, looked at that thing for 20 years and I've never made a cast to it. He wins. It's just wild to know that there's those kind of things in your own bodies of water that, like I said, tunnel vision sometimes burns your butt sometimes.
Yeah, it's really funny that you say that, because I believe that is probably the nemesis for every angler, no matter who they are, the body of water they go to, and they're like, I know this body of water. I know what they should be doing. I know how they should be reacting. You get out there, and Ty made a statement when I did an interview with him. He goes, I don't necessarily know that I wanted to have he lives on the Tri-Cities pool. He fishes it all the time. It's his thing. And he goes, I also can get spun out if they aren't doing what I think they're going to be doing. And I think a lot of people do that all over the country, whether it's your body of water or not. You go out there and you're all of a sudden there's a pressure of a tournament. You put that pressure on yourself because
100%.
that's how it works, right? You go out and you go, this is my body of water. I'm supposed to show up. I'm supposed to be in the top 10. I'm supposed to make this thing. I'm supposed to cash a check. And you go out and, like you said, you put blinders on and you fish history. You can struggle against fishing history, but it's always going to be there. It's history for a reason. You know it's there. You know what these fish should be doing, and you go, why aren't they doing it? And then you just get spun out, and you don't know how to get unspun, right? I mean, that's what you're really talking about. And if you're listening right now and you go out there on that body of water, the first thing and the best thing I can tell you is if it's your body of water and you know that you should be doing well, you've already basically defeated yourself. You need to go out there and throw that away and go, you know what? I am looking at this as if I'm an amateur and I've never touched this body of water.
Yes.
I'm going to go fish the stuff that right now, today, this is how I should be fishing. I mean, would you agree with that?
Absolutely. Again, fishing, like I told you, I fish a bunch here. I fish a lot of my bodies of water, and but I get out there and, like I said, past histories, like this time of year, I've caught them doing this. I should be throwing this. I should be throwing this. I'm like, you know what? Let's go see if they bite something else. Let's go see what. And I always try new and different things. I always venture out and do, and I always keep it. I really have, as I've gotten older, I've tried to be a lot more open-minded, a lot more not so closed-minded to where, I keep more stuff in the boat. Where back in the, when I was younger, a lot of it was reaction based. I didn't keep much finesse shit in there because I was not a finesse guy.
Right.
I'm going to force feed you, and this is what I'm going to do, and I would live and die by that. And as I've gotten older, I've kind of taken those blinders off.
Right.
And I don't rule out throwing a wacky Senko. I don't rule out throwing a drop shot. I don't rule out throwing a Nico rig. Now, if I can throw a top water or throw a spinner bait or throw a crankbait or catch them on a moving bait, man, you bet your butt that's what I'm going to do. But I'm not, as I've gotten older, I'm not ignorant to the fact that I can't pick up something else to be effective, and sometimes be more effective than you can be with a moving bait or something along those lines.
Well, I'll tell you what, we're going to be at Boardman. You said you're not going to be there. You're not going to be able to make that one, but Super 60 is going back down to Don Pedro. The Super 60, the BAM Classic is going to be on Don Pedro. Are you lined up to make that? I didn't check your standings where you're at, but are you?
I'm currently in 8th place in AOY.
Okay, so you're probably making the BAM Classic. I think he's taking 50 or something. I don't even know what he's taking to that thing. But it's one of those
35, I think, from the 60. I think
35 from the 60, and then another, whatever.
There's a few that come from. He has a couple other entities that are going to allow others to fish that.
Right.
But,
looking at this one, we're going to be the first event for the Super 60 on Pedro. It's going to be early to mid fall, on a body of water with some big fish, a body of water with some good fishing. How's that kind of shaping up in your mind? I don't want to, I don't want to tweak you out a little bit or anything like that, but how's that kind of
No.
shaping up in your mind? Is there could be some good fish caught down there as well.
Well, you would think for California that's fall fishing, but I'm not sure that that's going to be fall fishing. I think that's going to be more of a, if I had to guess, I would say probably more of a late summer.
Yeah.
I would not rule out a big jig. I would not rule out a big spoon. I would not rule out a deep crankbait, Carolina rig, drop shot. I mean, there's probably going to be a plethora of things, and maybe a top water in the morning. You might find a place where you could catch them schooling,
Yeah.
or something like that. I'm not 100% sure. Ed, the first time I'd ever seen Don Pedro was last year. I got to go down there and ride around with a buddy of mine and got to see the water, but the tournament, the 2 days of the tournament, so I really only have 3 days on Pedro ever.
Well,
So
yeah, I mean, we've had guys catch their personal bests out there during the tournament. We've had, not that wasn't that time of year, but we've had some good fish. There's some good fish in that body of water. I think the Classic is setting up to be a really, really good event.
now
it'll be
that one could be
BAM's
really good.
Yeah, it's going to be BAM's first, true Classic that he's doing down there. So it'll be interesting to see how that how that shapes up, how that plays out. I think we're going to be putting some of the top anglers again in the country on a body of water that has some really good fish, and we're going to be seeing some really cool things. So yeah, I think this could be good. I mean, I think the last part of this year is looking really good. I mean, we've got Boardman, Oregon, then we've got Pedro, and a lot of Pedro. That's it. We finish out the year. We finish out this whole thing on Pedro, and it's like, wow, this should be an interesting events. And the last events, this one at Boardman. Is there any one? I mean, we've talked about the Senko. Is there any one bait on the Boardman pool that you think could shine beyond the Senko?
Top water.
Top water this time of year up
I
there.
think a guy could, if you get in a rotation on top water, you might be able to throw that sucker all day. And and again, the Senko plays into that too, because if you're a smart top water guy, you got a follow-up bait, because as well as I do, when they hit a top water, they don't commit to it always. They'll knock it out of the water.
Oh,
I'll give you a little gem that Brandon Palaniuk gave me.
Okay.
So in talking about top waters, he educated me early when I was traveling and said, have you ever had so my favorite top walking bait is a Vixen, right?
Okay.
That's my all-time favorite. It catches bass. I don't care where you go. You can throw that sucker. But have you ever had those instances where, especially with smallmouth, when they hit it, they just absolutely knock the fire of it, and they just knock it like 2 feet in the air and hit the water?
Absolutely.
He's like, you know why they do that? And I thought, they're just not committing to it. He said, no. He said, pay attention to the bait. A Vixen is what he calls a roller.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, a roller? What do you mean a roller? He says, when that bait walks, watch the hooks. When it walks out, the hooks roll to the outside of the bait. So when it's at its peak and that fish hits that, the hooks are not at the base of the bait. They're to the outside of the bait. So they knock that sucker to the ceiling. That's why they don't ever get the hooks.
Mm-hmm.
He said, if you ever get in a situation and that's what they're doing, you need to switch to like a Sammy or a spook, something that walks, what we call a skater,
right?
One that walks hook down. He said, and I was dumbfounded when he said that. I was like, I had never even thought of that. And that just shows you the caliber of fisherman that
Right.
Brandon is, or those guys that are at that super high top guys, the Jacob Wheelers, the Dustin Cannells, the Kevin Van Dams, those guys, they process information on such a level that's even a guy like me is hard to fathom.
Right.
Like they're just on another level. And so when he started saying that, I really dove into trying to understand the baits that I throw. One of the things that I do, so in the springtime here, I'm going to let a little bit of juice out, and I probably shouldn't do this, but So one of the, and I have it tattooed on my arm, but one of the baits that I throw in the springtime, and guys around here know that I'm super religious about, is the rattle trap. Okay. In the springtime for a smallmouth, it can absolutely be I'm talking a big fish catching machine. Okay. Well, a lot of guys just pick up a trap and throw it. They'll throw a Bill Lewis, or they'll throw an Excalibur, or they'll throw a Yozuri, or they'll throw whatever. Well,
Mhm.
I have learned to approach it a little bit different. I focus more on sound
Okay.
more than color. So in the springtime for here, I'll throw two or three, or maybe even sometimes four different rattle traps, each one being a difference in sound.
Okay.
And you get out there, next thing you know, they're tuning into one a little bit better, or way better than anything else. Once I do that, then I fine tune color. The next thing you know, you've absolutely just hit the unlock button.
Hmm.
And it's something that has developed for me, that really has made a big difference in springtime smallmouth. Now, it doesn't work all the time,
Right.
but man, it works a lot more than it doesn't.
Hmm. Okay. Now, everybody, forget what you just said.
Can we
No.
bleep that part out?
Yeah. When this goes silent just before he opens his mouth, no. I'm just
Right.
no. That's and that's the way you have to do things. That's the difference, like you said, between the top echelon, which say it, don't say it. That's where you're at right now. You're fishing in that top echelon out here. Um, it's the West Coast, and it doesn't get the love that it should get. I wish it did out here.
Not yet.
But it's coming. I feel like it's opening the door a little bit. I think these events. I think when we get to Boardman and we see that they're having their end of summer, um, festival, their end of summer, party thing going on that they had. I mean, they have always opened the door to us here.
Right.
Having the fire department coming out, having the flag up on the top of on top of it for opening ceremony, for the blast off in the morning, all of that is just something that Boardman has always opened up their arms and said, "Hey, be a part of this," and they are letting us be a part of their summer event, and it is something that is going to be great. And I think with the West Coast, it will just keep showcasing that, hey, we're here, and highlight you guys as anglers. I think one of the things back east when you get back there, and I've been there a bit now. I'm getting ready to move myself that way, and it's one of
Sure.
those things that I see these anglers are household names back there. You can say, Polinick, and you can say Van Dam, and yeah, are they all over the world? Yes, of course they are. But when you're back there, it's just a different story. They're
Oh
just
man.
they don't, out here, I feel like when you say, a Joe Montana or a football guy or a baseball guy or whatever, people know who it is. It's
No, that
professional out here. Back there, they love
it.
their bass fishing, man.
Oh man. If you've never experienced the South or any of that stuff in the bass fishing communities,
Hmm,
you haven't experienced. It is something it's incredible. Like
right.
that's why. I mean, would I love to see bass bring some opens out to the West Coast? Of course I would. I would probably fish them along with these Super 60s, but they the reason that they don't is because the population of bass fishermen is so astronomically high.
Mm-hmm.
Why would they? Why would they take?
Right.
Why? It's kind of like the same adage of, if you're out fishing a tournament and you're on a giant school of fish catching fish,
Yep.
why would you leave fish to go find fish?
Yep. No, 100%. I mean,
It's the same. It's the same situation.
yeah, it's absolutely an amazing difference. And like I said, I would love to see that happen out here. It's something I've pushed for and something I've tried to get, ever since I went to the last open that was here on the, down in Discovery Park in Sacramento. Went down there and I saw the crowds, I saw the people, and I went, God, they're here. The fans are here. The show is not. And that's what we need. BAM Super 60 has got to become that show. It's got to become something that people want to see. And the anglers that are on tour, they have to be that household name. The Ocamicas out there, the Pilgrims that are out there, that you name it, These guys, you just said Ostrander, and that guy is a stick beyond sticks out there. I mean, he goes
He's
everywhere
a
and can
hammer,
catch fish.
dude.
He understands. I swear, I did an interview with him, and I always razz him a little bit. It's like he was the original guy that lived in a van down by the river. And I told him that. He goes, I sold my van a while ago. I get it, but you're still that guy, man. You're still that guy who is just so in touch with the water, so in touch with fish. I mean, I swear to God, if you check behind his ears, he's got gills. He's that good of a fisherman.
Before I ever met Ostrander, that was the rumor that I heard.
Right.
He's in a ProMaster van, pulling his boat. He goes and camps at some reservoir for a week or 2 weeks and fishes the hell out of it, learns it, and moves on to the next one. And that was the rumor that I heard about Ostrander before I even ever met the guy.
Yeah.
Like, dude, if you have that availability to be able to do those kind of things, I don't give a shit where you go. You're going to be a hammer. Like, because time on the water is the king. I don't care what anybody tells you. Time on the water can overcome ability.
Oh, 100%.
Because if you understand a body of water and you understand it, the ability portion actually decreases a little bit. Now, if you are on the high end of ability and you have time on the water, man, now you really create an equation that creates a absolute monster.
Right. Yeah, I mean, and they're out there. We have the anglers. We have the Greg Gonterreses. We have the Aaron Britts. We have the Christian Ostranders. We have the Ishman Rose. We have people forget, Skeet's from here. We have the guys, even in the Pacific.
I
was going to say both, man. Yeah, Randy.
They're both hammers.
Sorry. Yeah, exactly. It's like we have the anglers. They're here and they can compete. I mean, Ty Madden. I mean, that right. We have the youth and everything. Ty Manarola. I mean, these are guys who they are there. Their names can be
Mancini.
Big. Oh yeah. I mean,
Mancini's a hammer too.
So they're here. We just need to figure out a way to make these guys popular. And you know what?
And Mark's doing a great job doing that. And it takes time.
It does.
It takes time. Like
it's not a 3-year process. It's a 10-year process.
Right.
I would say if after 10 years we're sitting in the same spot, then there's an issue.
And
but you know what? It won't be.
It won't be. That's a guarantee. It won't be.
No. Well, unfortunately, we're at the end of the show, and I told you this is when I give you about 10 minutes to go ahead and tell everybody, they just listened to you talk. They just came out here and said, hey, who is this guy? So you know what, Darrell? Tell everybody how they can find you. Tell them about your sponsors, and tell them a little bit about just who you are, man. Here's your time.
Thank you. So I'm, honest to God, I'm just a guy that loves bass fishing. For one, I get an opportunity, thanks to Mark, to be able to put myself on a level that's above average. Actually, I mean, we fish against a lot of guys that are good, but like I told you, first and foremost, my wife is number one. She is the one that's the backbone that holds the fort down. And when I say, hey, babe, I'm going to fish this derby, she says, I'll see you when you get back. Those two, Travis Clyde, he's a guy here that sponsors. He's my title sponsor for this year. He's been unbelievable. Like I hope he's on the bandwagon for me for next year, because I'd love to support him again. He's just a genuine dude. Bass Cat Boats, I can't thank them enough. They make such a product. They were my sponsor when I fished the Elite Series. I've been a Bass Cat guy my entire life. I have not ever owned another bass boat other than a Cat. And I will never. Rick Pierce, a phenomenal guy. If you've never met him, he's one of those guys in the fishing industry. He just got inducted to the Hall of Fame. If you get an opportunity to meet him, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about, because he's one of those guys. Lawrence and Shimano, G. Loomis, all those guys. You obviously, we can't do this without those Power Pole. Power Pole is a big one for me. They got me outfitted. I run a Charge, Power Pole blades, and dude. And if you haven't run that Power Pole move trolling motor, you are missing out. It is absolutely the best best trolling motor on the market, in my opinion. I haven't run the new Quest Minn Kota, but I ran the old Ultrex, Lowrance Ghost, and all that stuff, and I'm sold. That move is it's it's awesome. It's awesome. But my boss too, where I work, I'm a mechanic by trade. That's what makes the money for me to be able to have an opportunity to go do these things. But he pretty much, I have free range. He's like, dude, you just schedule with me. Let me know when you're going to be gone. I'll see you when you get back. Never blinks an eye, never gives me guff, never says nothing to me. So, Steve, I appreciate you more than you realize. But, I'm just a normal guy. If you see me out in the water fishing somewhere, you see me approach, I'm super approachable. You got a question, ask it. I'm here to help in any way, shape, and form. I love what I do. I love the platform that I get to be a part of, and I hope I get to do this for quite a few years coming and see where the world takes me. I haven't got one of those major wins. I know it's coming. At some point in time, I'm going to be able to put myself in position to be and hoist one of those trophies. I know it's coming, but in the meantime, I'm going to keep grinding and figure out what I got to do to stay at the top.
All right, man. Well, I'll tell you what, go out, get on the gym, because I'll tell you what, the day you have to lift that trophy, you're going to need to get that pump on, because that thing is heavy, man.
Yeah. Hickey does a great job making those, because he sends me pictures. So he's a real good friend of mine. I talk to him all the time. I work on his rigs and do different things, but that little sucker sends me little snaps, pictures of in the building process. I'm like, dude, quit teasing me, man. He's like, we stay together when we get to tournaments, and he's like, carry that in there. I'm like, only time I'm touching that trophy is if I win it. I ain't touching it any other time. He's like, just pick it up and take it in there. I'm like, sorry, Jason. I'm not against the banana in the boat. That I don't care, but I am not touching that trophy unless I win it. That's the only time.
Well, I'll tell you what, at the last event there at Tri-Cities, I didn't know Ron was going to win. I really didn't. But there was an opportunity for him to do it. And I went, you know what I need to do is come up for a new way to present that trophy, because it was always, hey, we get somebody, or, I have to, or Mark has to hand that thing off. That trophy is heavy. It is like 60 pounds. It is literally a heavy trophy. Guys have to build things in their office to hold those things. So I decided, I want to put that little table out there. And that way they don't have to lift it so much as they just stand next to it and get really good pictures.
They got to be able to lift it, man. You can't get away from that. But here's the cool idea.
They got to lift it to take it off the stage to go home with it. But, trying to do that after you fished all day, I mean, you're tired. Picking up a 60-something pound trophy, putting that thing over your head, holding it up, it ain't easy, man. It ain't easy. And I went, you know what? Let's make it more center stage.
I got kind of a cool idea, and this might be something you run by past Mark. The previous winner of the last Super 60 hands the trophy off to the current winner.
See, now that wouldn't. How are we gonna get Ron to hand it to Ron? I'm just kidding.
Well, that does create a problem. But I guess you can't do that unless you'd have to ask the previous winner to stick around for the top 10.
Right.
If he didn't make the top 10.
If he didn't make the top 10, right. It's a bit of an issue, but I mean, we've done some really cool things. I love, watching guys. We've brought their fathers up. We've brought their whatever's up. We've brought different people up and said, hey, hand this off, hand that off. Brian Smith, we got to do that with. There's quite a few that we've done that with. And,
hey, we didn't even mention Brian. Dude, Brian's a hammer. That dude's a monster, dude. Like, you overcome him.
Don't talk about Brian. His head's gonna get bigger than it is.
That dude, put that kickstand out to hold that sucker up, dude, because he deserves that. Because he is 100%. Absolutely that. He's the epitome of it, dude. Like, his schedule's got to be absolutely bonkers. That he's traveling to the East Coast to do all the Elite Series stuff, then travels his butt back here to fish with us. Like, I mean, that in itself is a humongous deal.
You can't name all the Super 60 I mean, Roy Hawk, who unfortunately hasn't been fishing with us, but now again, but this guy, hey, there's another big name out there. I mean, there's just so many, and it's
so many of
one
them,
of those
right?
things, man. And you know what? Here's the best part. All those guys who, you're talking about Brian Smith, Ish Monroe, Greg Gutierrez, who's fished all over the world. He's
Sean Minderman.
He's represented our country. Sean Minderman, you know, like you said, the Maccabees, all these big names. You know what we get to do? We get to stick it Ocamica in there, and I love saying it every time you come up on the stage, man. I want to say right now, everybody, thanks for tuning in. Darrell, thanks for coming on and doing the show. I know it was last minute, man. You came up here, you saved my buns a little bit on this one. The next time, I got you on that one up there. So we'll see you at the next Super 60 down there on Don Pedro. And you know what, everybody? Thanks for tuning in. In a couple weeks, we'll have another great angler just like Mr. Ocamica right here. Thank you for doing it. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you in the next one.
Thanks, Ed.